Right, I've got to do this, and it's sad because I've liked this guy for a long time, and I've been watching a lot of his stuff, and for a lot of years, I took what he said at face value. But again and again and again, this guy just tells lies. He just fibs. And I don't know if it seems like one of those things where it's like don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That seems to sum him up completely. And I can't handle it anymore. Mainly now because I know that it's a lie and he's trying to cover this shit up that he's just said today. Um, because he doesn't care. He just wants to be seen as right. Apparently, as long as everybody sees that he's right, and anybody that just like says an innocent comment in his comments that's just like maybe that's not right, it's just deleted. Right. So first of all, it was the other day when he told a spooky story on whatever it is, the Beyond 313 channel. There's the Spooky News or whatever the fuck it's called. Where he talked about the Kiss, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley talking about Chris. What was the drummer's name? Chris something. They had a drummer anyway, and he died of cancer. And Thomas Sheridan said that he went to that they went to the funeral, and that they saw that they like looked down and they were horrified at like how like alien looked and stuff like that. And then the guys, the drummer's like girlfriend went over to the casket because she wanted to keep the fucking drumsticks. She wanted the drumsticks, so she took the drumsticks out of the casket, and as she picked them off the casket, the drummer's hand like moved and grabbed the fucking sticks and held them back. And yeah, it's like creepy, you know. And it's like, what's it? And Thomas like presented it like as like, you know, you don't know what, you know, the person's soul might leave, but you don't know what's in there, like possessed. So then I go like reading it because it really interested me that. And you know, I believe Thomas, so I go like look up on these stuff, and I looked at the Paul Stanley autobiography, and that's not what they said at all. That's not what happened. She every now and then she would take the sticks out of the casket and put them back, and his fingers moved. Like Stanley makes like a sort of grim, like, you know, his fingers were moving, like just you know, bodies move when they're dead sometimes. Like his hand will have been positioned in that particular way to hold the sticks. He didn't grab the sticks back. There's such like half truths, and like it's fair enough, whatever. Oh, you got your spooky show or whatever. And then today he starts talking about Jameel Rawls, and he didn't realize he was talking about Jameel Rawls. He said there was this guy, right, and I saw him years ago because he's got to like, you know, everybody like that Thomas ever disagrees with or ever like has a good point against Thomas. Then he like invents a fucking like the demon possessed. The demon possessed, there are all these skunk smoking demon possessed lunatics, because somebody like who smoked weed like made a good point against him at one point. That's all that is. It's constantly. He reminds me of like that. Anyway, never mind. We're getting on off tangent right here, but it's so he says it's basically a reflection, right, of like that he doesn't like any sort of like negativity or anything like that in the comments. So then he associates that with like, oh, they're all gonna die of cancer. They're all gonna die. It's like the ultimate corp is like, oh, the energy will flow back on them. The karmic energy will flow back on them. They're all gone schizophrenic. They've all gone insane. So he thinks that Jameel Rawls was driven insane by doing those videos about Jordan Maxwell, accusing Jordan Maxwell, even though, as we all know, that was once again he's just talking out of his ass. He sees something and then he thinks what he likes to think about it, and then he just says that as if it's the truth. The same with like the Jimmy Savile murders, and when I started looking into those things back in the day, and some of the things that he claimed about that, it's just not quite exactly what happened at all. He just relies on nobody looking up anything that he says. This intellectual fucking like army that he claims that he's gathered up. We're the smart ones, not us, not us. We're the smart ones. Everybody's just listening to me like a cult leader, not questioning anything I say. Like, I'm sorry, right? I'm sure he knows his stuff with some of the things that he's talking about, but he talks shit so much, and then all you try to do is just correct him, and he can't have it. You can't have it because that's the cult. That's the cult fucking mentality. There's no alternate opinion. It's the same with like that fucking creepy, noncy armchair detective. It's the same thing. These weird little online communities of boomers, or boomers, they can't take any sort of criticism or alternative fucking. They just want to speak. And fair play to him. You know, he's got a successful channel doing that. The grift. See, I never thought that he was a grifter. Turns out he's just another fucking grifter. Be only so long before the only thing he'll read will be super chats. £5 for a comment. And then he'll start talking to the Jordan Maxwell thing. Money is energy. The riverbank. Maritime law. Give me money. Give me money. That's all he fucking cares about, really. But yeah, like, so basically Thomas claims that, like, this, you know, the occultic negative energy that Jameel was sending out at Jordan, because it was unwarranted, of course, because, you know, that's the deal. It was reflected back on him, and Jameel went insane. That's not what happened. Jameel was born of a prostitute and a pimp, and he was neglected his entire life. His mental illnesses were, and they've stirred up into this crazy person who then Jordan Maxwell attempted to fucking exploit and rinse of money, dragging him out to fucking Los Angeles. Never mentioned that, did you, Thomas? Weird that. You know, because you didn't listen to the fucking interview because you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, and basically just fucking like exploit this clearly mentally ill person, even on the phone, getting him to send him money and stuff, for nothing. And then when he was out there, took him around a bunch of places, claiming a bunch of shit, and then threatening him, subtly threatening Jameel, and making this paranoid schizophrenic think that somebody's going to fucking assassinate him. Yeah, a real nice guy there. It's the company you keep. That's the grifters. Grifters unite together. I mean, you're sick, mate. If, like, you know, you don't want to just know the truth about that. Anybody, like, he goes on and on about like all the, like, what good people are, and the horrible politicians and stuff. But like, if he had any sort of like dignity, he'd have looked at those comments that I posted and he'd be like, "Oh, right, okay, fair enough. I didn't know that." That's a good point though, because, you know, it doesn't dispel his point about, like, you know, being the negative energy, whatever the fuck he's trying to say. It's just there's also something about just being honest and just realizing that you were wrong about something. I mean, I wasn't saying it in a sort of got you way. You know, you could be, you're leading people toward Jordan, who is on. I looked anyway. The interview is still up. If you just Google, just YouTube, Jordan Maxwell, Jameel Rawls, and then use the filter to go above 20 minutes, you'll find a 5-hour video. All right, a 5-hour video of Jordan Maxwell talking circles around Jameel Rawls and getting him to agree to all sorts of shit, like getting Jordan a car while he's in LA and letting Jordan just use it, because Jameel's banned from driving, and all he's just bringing this kid out there just to suck him of money. This fucking helpless, deranged individual, and he can't even remember his name on the phone. It's sick, the whole interview. But yeah, no one should be surprised. Anyone that actually knows Jordan Maxwell, aka Russell Pine. Again, as I pointed out in that comment, which Thomas deleted on the channel, Russell Pine now lives in a single room with terrible health, years of terrible health, and he's completely fucking miserable and angry all the time. What's that say about your little energy thing, Jordan? Thomas? Just saying. I'm just getting sick of it, that's all. Let's talk the truth, dude. You go around there like talking all this stuff, and no one can like point you out when you're wrong. It's ridiculous. Stop just making shit up because it sounds good. And that's my psychic weather report.